to the Feminine Millionaire Show. I'm your host, Polly Alexandre, and I'm a success coach, healer, creative, and future millionaire. If creating money and success in a spiritual and feminine way is your goal, this show is for you. Understand how to overcome your past, bring your soul's greatest gifts to the world, and up-level your income, impact, joy, and happiness. Join me each week to be inspired and uplifted as you learn the business, mindset, energetic, and spiritual shifts you can make to create your own wildly abundant life and business. Let's all rise together. Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Feminine Millionaire podcast. I'm Polly Alexandre and I'm super excited to be here with you today to dive into one of my absolute favourite topics, money. Most people do not realise they're unconsciously blocking more abundance in their lives because of their unconscious belief systems. I absolutely love to reveal and open up the blocks and bring them to the surface so they can be identified and then cleared, so that women like you can expand into their full potential and do the work their soul came here to do for the world. So the good news is, if you're struggling in any way with money right now, it is 100% possible to turn this around. Today I'm going to be talking about why money is a spiritual journey. I'll also be sharing some of the top blocks I see in women entrepreneurs that block them allowing more money into their lives and living in a state of greater abundance. And I'll also be sharing what you can do today, right now, to start clearing those blocks. It's such a rich and incredible subject, and so much transformation is possible in this area. So let's first start with how I got into the subject of money mindset. Well, I followed the usual path. I went to university, I got a good job, and then age 28, I decided that I would jump off the corporate ladder and I would become an entrepreneur. Except I didn't really resonate with that word at the time. I actually wanted to either become a photographer or an interior designer. And so I left my job after buying my first home and I went back to college to study. Now, when I went on to start my own business as a wedding photographer, this brought all of my hidden money stuff rising to the surface. I was given a crash course in how to ask for money, in how to believe in my worth, and in how to raise my rates and run a business. It wasn't easy, but I went from my first £500 shoot to charging $5,000 and upwards for weddings. With the success of my business, I was able to buy my second home, my dream home in Ibiza. And I moved there with my boyfriend, and the day we arrived, he proposed to me. I remember sitting there at sunset at this beautiful restaurant at the top of a cliff, eating a steaming hot paella, drinking a chilled glass of rosé, thinking life is just perfect. I looked at him and I said, I just don't want anything to change. And within minutes, everything would start to change. A few minutes later, I found myself outside the restaurant at sunset being proposed to. Something which I didn't anticipate coming from a man that said he would never get married. And that was just the beginning. My life seemed perfect. I had my man, my business, my dream home, my dream island. But within 6 months, my mother died suddenly of a previously undiagnosed cancer, and then my father got diagnosed with cancer as well. As a response to the incredible stress, I developed my own serious, ongoing allergies that kept me working to my full capacity. My fiancé and I got married, and then shortly after, he decided marriage was not for him and abruptly left. Things just got worse and worse and worse, and I spiraled down, and not surprisingly, my business was affected. I was struggling financially, emotionally, in pretty much every way. And then I had an eye injury. As a photographer, possibly the worst thing that could happen. I almost lost the sight in one eye, and my whole livelihood was under threat. I now know that this was most probably my rock bottom, or my dark night as the soul. Those of you familiar with that phrase will know. But all I knew was that it couldn't get worse. It could only get better. One thing led to another, and I recognized that I needed help. I hired a coach I found online, and I was determined to turn things around. I was determined to figure out this money thing. How do I make money? How do I get out of debt? How do I stop constantly worrying about money? How do I live the life I really dream of? How do I turn this around? There was a part of me that knew she was meant for more. She had no idea how to get there. But this little glimmer inside me said life is meant to be more than this. So if you resonate with any of this right now, look for that spark within you. That wise part of you that knows you're meant for more, that knows more is possible for you, that knows that life is not supposed to be a struggle, that life is not supposed to be sacrifice, deprivation, heartbreak, lack, and fear. Determined to figure out this money thing, I started reading everything I could get my hands on around money. And I commit to my own self-development like never before. I went from reading the occasional self-development book, going on a yoga holiday, and making a vision board each year. I went from that to really leaning in and making my own self-development my number one priority. I will figure this out no matter what. I was doing affirmations for hours a day. I was reading book after book, and slowly things started to turn around. In a year, my income went up 150%. And I started manifesting incredible opportunities, things that I'd been chasing for years. For 9 years, it was my dream to appear in Martha Stewart Wedding Magazine. As a photographer, that was the holy grail of weddings. And every year it was on my vision board. Every year I'd submit my best weddings, and every year I'd get a no. But I didn't give up. I held the vision. And that's possible for all of you listening now. Just because you've had 1,000 no's, they don't have to be no's. They're just not yets. They're just not yets. So I kept on going. And then out the blue, I was named one of their top wedding photographers worldwide, and then commissioned to shoot celebrity weddings for the magazine itself. And it finally resulted in a 12-page feature on a beautiful wedding I covered and the cover. Things just started getting better and better, and my income rose with them. When I started clearing my unconscious blocks and I discovered intuitive energy healing as a way of shifting deep blocks even faster, my income rose 420% in a year. And this is one of the reasons I'm so excited to be here with you, because I'm going to be teaching and sharing along this journey on this podcast and through my programs how you can do this too. I started bringing this work to my clients because by this time I was a coach, and that's a whole other podcast. But I started working on clearing my clients' money blocks with amazing results. And then I created my program, Money Beautifully. So that's a little snapshot into my story today. There's so much more there I could share. But what I will say is that along this journey of entrepreneurship, I've learned so much about money, about how to believe in myself, how to believe in my worth, how to raise my rates, how to communicate my worth to my clients. I've learned about all the things that affect my money mindset, which are broader and deeper and wider than you could ever imagine. I've learned about all the things that affect my money mindset, which are broader and deeper and wider than you could even imagine. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So, very simply, how do you know if you've got money blocks? Well, there's quite a few symptoms, so I'm going to become a money doctor right now. So first of all, very simply, if you're in any fear or struggle around money, you have money blocks. But if you're also not making as much as you would like to be, and you're not able to live the fullest experience of life that you desire, that you really desire, then you have money blocks. Okay? So it doesn't have to be that you're struggling on the breadline. It doesn't have to be that you can barely put food on the table. It can be just that you are getting by. It can be that you're doing well, but you want to be doing even better. It can be that you have these huge dreams and it's going to take a lot of money to bring those to the world. And the reality is that you probably need more money than you think to be the fullest expression of you, to do everything that you came here to do as a soul, to have all the experiences that your heart dreams of, to assemble a team to help you bring your work to the world, to help you have the biggest impact you can. It's going to take money, and most probably lots of it. So let's just dive into a few symptoms so that you can identify that you have got money blocks. So the first one is if you are doing well and then the income dries up, so money dries up. And you're doing the same thing you always were, but it just stops working. One of my dear clients, Emma, described it in her business as the tap didn't so much as stop pouring or dripping, it completely rusted and fell off. So think about your tap right now, your money tap. How is the flow? Is it flowing beautifully? Would you like it to be flowing more? Is it completely switched off? Is it just dripping? The second thing is if there is yo-yo income. So that can be part business model. Depending on the kind of business model you have, most entrepreneurs' income goes up and down. Okay, that's the nature of it. However, you can have it go up and down from a certain base so that you've always got a certain amount of money coming in. But if you're really experiencing yo-yo income, that can also be a money block. Let's say that you make 5K one month and then you make nothing the next month. So that would make your average income 2.5K. Well, that might be your income ceiling. So if you have a big month and you make 10K, then you might not make anything the next 3 months. And what that's really showing you is that there's a certain amount of money you're comfortable earning. So in your unconscious mind, it thinks you're worth this amount. So if you have a bigger month, it'll then be offset by several smaller months. Okay, next one is around spending. Are you experiencing guilt when you spend? Do you feel more comfortable spending on others than on yourself? It's a very, very female trait, especially if you're a mother and you have children. Do you feel guilty spending money on yourself? And that can also extend to taking time off. And that's something I'm excited to dive into in this series. Maybe you're in complete denial or avoidance around money and you're even feeling uncomfortable listening to this. So if you just don't want to check your bank statements, you'd rather not think about it, you just think about it at the end of the year because you have to, that is another symptom. Maybe your business is going well, but you just can't quite shake that fear. So even though somehow it always works and you always seem to have enough money, you're constantly worried about where the next client will come from. And you have this fear around money running out. This is huge, and no amount of money will address that. I remember when I got to 15 to 20K months in my business a few years back, but I still had the fear. I still had the fear that it won't work next month or that it'll suddenly dry up and everything will go away. And I've known clients with huge amounts in savings that just cannot bring themselves to invest in themselves because they fear that once the money's gone, it'll never come back. Now, maybe you resonate with more than a few of these blocks. Just have compassion with yourself as you go through. If you're getting a yes and another yes, just observe. Don't judge yourself. Try to be kind and compassionate to yourself, because a lot of your belief system around money is not your fault. Yeah. And we're going to be diving into it in this series, where this actually comes from and what you can do about it. Now, maybe you're in a place where you're reliant on others for security. Maybe it's your husband, your partner, or your parents, or your job. And the thought of starting your own business is just terrifying, because there won't be any money in your bank account at the end of each month. Maybe you fear really being yourself in a relationship, or even leaving a relationship, because you don't know how you'll provide for yourself. So relying on others for your security is also a money block. Now, one of the biggest money blocks I work with a lot of creatives, a lot of coaches, a lot of healers, spiritual entrepreneurs. One of the biggest money blocks I come across is visibility, is the fear of being visible. This needs a whole episode in itself, but what happens when you are being less visible than you need to be for your work? Well, money can't see you. Quite simply, money can't see you. And when money can't see you, your business and your income isn't going to grow either. Money has to be able to find you in the world. Money has to be able to find you and your services, and so do your ideal clients that really need what you have to offer. Okay, another symptom, finding it hard to raise your rates, feeling unworthy of charging more, or feeling guilty receiving money for your services, or receiving more than the bare minimum. You 100% have money blocks. Raising your rates is one of my favorite topics to talk about. And again, another one I'll be diving into soon. Today, I just want to give you an overview of all of the ways that you can be blocking money coming into your life. So why do we do this? Why do we do this? Well, we do it unconsciously, is the truth. And money was my greatest struggle. When I became aware of it, I realized money was my greatest struggle. But in fact, it wasn't just my story of struggle. I uncovered it was a story going back generations. And it was a story that has stopped me living the fullest version of life and expanding into a greater experience of joy, happiness, and authenticity. I blamed money for so many things. I blamed it for stress, anxiety. I blamed it for me not living where I wanted to be living, not having the experiences, the holidays, the travel, the wardrobe, the home I wanted to have. I blamed money for me having to work all the time and not having the fun or relationships I wanted. I had a scarcity mindset before I even knew there was such a thing as a money mindset. Now, you'll remember I shared earlier I got married. Well, we were on honeymoon in California. Went up the Big Sur coastline and stayed at a really wonderful hotel called the Post Ranch Inn. Some of you might know that, a really incredible place. And when I was there, it poured with rain. It rained and it rained and it rained. And we thought, what are we going to do? And then we saw on the menu in reception, they had a shaman. Yes. So we booked a private session, my new husband and I, with this shaman. And it was during that session I learned that my purpose, one of my purposes, was to heal the poverty of my ancestors. My grandmother was one of 13 children in her family who lived in a workhouse where totally destitute people worked 16 hours a day to earn a bit of food and a place to lay their head in a dirty bed. Now, fortunately, my parents escaped this fate. Through working 4 jobs, my dad was able to buy a set of horse stables that they converted into a house. And yes, my mother's name was Mary. During childhood, I had received a lot of programming around money that obviously I wasn't consciously aware of. And this is where we get a lot of our money programming from. It's the environment that we grow up in. It's our parents, our family, school. It's the news, the media. It's both conscious and unconscious messages we get from the people around us around money. So I was told that you have to work hard for money. You don't waste money or spend it on fun, joy, or pleasure. It's greedy to have more than your fair share. You'll never have enough. In fact, I was literally told that you will never have enough money. And I was paid for performance, getting money for each A I got. Money was something that was spoken about behind closed doors. There was a money date once a month. My parents locked themselves away in the dining room with the credit card statements and the books. And it wasn't something that we were involved in. It was something hidden, quiet. It seemed stressful. Now, I also at the same time realised that money was a source of freedom. So got my first job, age 13, doing a paper round. And then, age 15, I lied about my age and got my first regular Saturday job. I loved having money. It gave me a sense of freedom and a sense of control. Then I largely forgot about money during my 20s. I put money aside. I went into paid work and I didn't really think about it. I had the programming that you work towards buying a house, which was helpful money programming, because what you'll notice as you share this journey with me is that some of the money program you had was likely helpful and supportive. Yeah, so it's usually a mixed bag that we receive. So I learned that working hard for money brings you money. And so I made it a mission and a commitment to always have part-time jobs. So I did. And so I was able to start traveling in my 20s, to start buying things I loved. But as I said earlier, when the whole money piece really came to a head was when I decided to become a business owner, when I decided to work for myself. So any of you that are newly transitioned to entrepreneurs, especially this year, which has been an extraordinary year in history, and many of you will be jumping off for the first time or perhaps going full-time in your online business. Well, this is when all of my money blocks rose to the surface. So no, that's completely normal if that's coming up for you. So there's a couple more things I just want to share today. The first thing is, why is money such a big issue for so many women? Why do we seem to struggle more as women than men do? Well, firstly, generally money is frowned upon to discuss. I certainly did not grow up discussing money with friends or family, other than complaining about a lack of it. There's a lack of education around it, but the biggest thing is that there are thousands of years of programming of female financial disempowerment. For literally thousands of years, women have been unable to own property, assets, work, have their own money, their own bank accounts, their own investments. For thousands of years, we have relied upon men for our safety and security. It's a unique time in history, and now we are able to claim our financial independence. It's an incredible time in history for creating online businesses. The opportunities with technology and the internet are quite simply incredible. Traditionally, it's been the man's job to look after the money. And so many women have programming around I'm no good with money, or it's not my job, or that's a man's job. And a lot of this can be unconscious. So when I work with clients, I often see that they're not even aware of this programming, but they've inherited it from their mother or their grandmother. Or it was just the unconscious messages that were given to them from their environment. Women are hardwired to give and be the caregiver and give to others, and quite often not so good or used to receiving. That's definitely been one of my journeys. And when you're looking to make more money, you need to improve your ability to give to the world. So what the channels for that look like, what the offerings look like, how you market yourself. But also you need to get better at receiving. So being able to be supported, allowing support in, allowing yourself to receive money, praise, recognition, and support. And for many of us women, we've inherited our self-worth from our mother, who was our biggest role model. And she, for many of us in our generation, was dependent on her husband or a man, or perhaps she had a small part-time job. Or the other model I see is where women were brought up by a woman that was breaking the mold. So those of you who are a little younger, you may have been brought up by a strong, independent, financially empowered woman that sometimes slipped more into her masculine and perhaps taught you that you sacrifice family life or self-care or personal happiness in order to be a strong financial provider. Okay, so now you're really starting to see why working on money is such an important thing to do. I'm going to share 5 of the top money blocks I see in women entrepreneurs next. So the first one is that avoidance or denial pattern of relating to money. This used to be mine, so I would avoid opening my bank statements or credit cards. I'd avoid looking at how much I earned a month or how much I spent because I'd rather not know. And I would avoid thinking about tax until the end of the tax year, and then go into massive panic, massive overdrive, and suddenly pull in the money I needed at the 11th hour. The second top money block I see in women entrepreneurs is emotional spending. So spending either to feel good or not to feel bad. So you're using money as a tool for rewarding yourself. Oh, I've worked hard, I deserve this. Or to avoid other feelings. Oh, I'll go shopping and then I won't have to think about X or Y. And linked to that, which I want to bring up here, is the idea of money determining your self-worth. So I put this into this same category because it affects your emotions. But when you have money, feeling good about yourself, and when you don't have money, feeling bad about yourself. So tying your money to your self-worth. It's really important to be able to separate the two. So to know that you are equally worthy, whether you have had a big month or not. This is a really big one to shift because naturally when we've been praised or when we have an external symbol of our success, we feel better about ourselves. But what you need to do is to get to a place where you feel worthy with or without money. Easier said than done. The third top money block I see in women entrepreneurs is the fear of being visible. Maybe you're worried about how family and friends will judge you or being seen as arrogant if you make more money or get more successful. Maybe you have the fear of being unsafe, in danger, attacked. The fear of being visible is a huge one. Number 4 is low self-worth. So just not feeling worthy of success, of raising your rates, of receiving more money, of receiving more than you need. And number 5 is the fear of failure. I see so many women playing safe, staying in their comfort zone, being smaller than they're here to be, being averse to taking risks. And all of my big rewards came from taking big risks. That's going to be a good episode. I'd love to share with you some of the big risks I've taken that have resulted in big rewards. Because success lies outside our comfort zone. So as long as we stay in our comfort zone, we're never really going to achieve those big breakthroughs of success that we secretly yearn for. Okay? So some other money blocks we don't have time to go into today are fear of burnout. Yep. And the fear of not enough clients, not enough time, not enough money. Maybe you fear neglecting your family. So I want to keep this as an overview. I can go into all of these in more detail. But let's finish off by talking about why money is a spiritual journey. This is something I'm absolutely passionate about. Why is money a spiritual journey? Well, our relationship with money is about our relationship with ourselves and with God or the universe. As we heal our relationship with money, we also heal our relationship with ourselves. As we heal our relationship with money, we also heal our relationship with God, Source, or the universe. And we connect more to our infinite, worthy, divine nature. When you focus on making more money, what you're really doing is saying, I'm going to connect more to my potential. I'm going to express more of my potential into the world. I'm going to raise my vibration. I'm going to inspire others with what's possible. So can we make a decision right now to release any guilt or shame around desiring more money? Can we make a decision right now to release any guilt or shame around wanting more? And can we make a decision right now? I invite you, listening to this now, to join me in making a decision to drop the guilt and the shame of your past money mistakes, and to allow yourself to write a new money story starting today. Money is just energy. It's just a symbol of exchange. It's just a means of exchange. And there's so much you can do to shift your mindset around money. I'm going to finish today by sharing a few tips for you to start doing right now. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is start appreciating. Appreciation is simple, it's easy, and it's free. Now, the way I do this is at the end of every day, I take my journal, which I keep by my bed. Before I go to sleep, I take my journal and I write out 10 things I'm grateful for about that day. Now, why is this important? Well, the first thing is that it changes your focus from the things that went wrong, from the things that didn't happen, and from all the lack in your day and scarcity and stress. And it pivots it towards all the things that went well, that you're grateful for, all the good things in your life, and all the things you have to appreciate. And by having to look for things, it literally pivots your mindset. And the reason I do 10, not 3, is because I push myself. Because the first 2 or 3 come easy, and then I have to really look around. What have I got to be appreciative for right now? So that's one of the things I always do. And sometimes I get stuck on 8 for ages, and I have to really push myself to be grateful for something else and stretch myself. Okay, and the second thing I want you to do is to look at your relationship with money like a partner. Imagine money is your wife or husband, girlfriend, boyfriend. I want you to look at, how are things going? Are you guys in communication all the time? Or sometimes do you not speak for weeks at a time? Do you forget all about money? Or do you chase it like crazy? Are you harassing it? How supportive is money to you? So if money was your partner, how supportive would it be? Is it always there for you? Does it allow you to have fun? Is it loving and kind to you? And what do you like to money if it was your partner? Are you kind? Are you appreciative? Do you make time for it? How intimate are you? Okay, so I'm just going to give you those 2 things to do. If you start doing these 2 things before next week's episode, This is going to make a huge difference. You'll already start pivoting the way you feel, think, and attract money. It's been a pleasure being here with you today. I'm so excited to begin this incredible new journey. So I can't wait to see you on the next episode. And if you would like to experience powerful energy clearing on your money blocks, be sure to sign up for my free meditation. I would also love it if you could leave a review for me. That would mean a huge amount to me. If you could leave a rating and a review in iTunes or wherever you're listening to this, that would really, really help me get this message that all women deserve to live a truly abundant life out to more people. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. I cannot wait for us all to expand into more and more abundance in 2021. Let's make this your best year yet. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me for this episode of The Feminine Millionaire. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure that you subscribe so you automatically get the new episodes every week. And I would love it if you left me a review. This would mean so much to me, and I will send everyone that writes a review a copy of my Manifest Your Biggest Month Ever meditation, not available publicly. Just send a screenshot of your review to support@polyalexandre.com and my team will get it out to you. I also invite all of you to sign up for my free gift, a success meditation, which contains powerful energy work and helps you rewrite your limiting beliefs around money and success on a deep subconscious level. Go to polyalexandre.com/success-meditation or click on the link below this episode. My favorite place to hang out on social media is Instagram, so that's where you'll find me online. Thank you so much for being here. I send you all so much love and I look forward to seeing you here again next week.